Hey guys, just a quick video I wanted to make clarifying my stance on a few things. Also, this is completely unrelated to the video, but prayers up to the people affected by the recent hurricanes. It's been a crazy few weeks for you guys. So yeah, hoping you're doing alright, and if you're not, praying it'll get better. Also, please excuse the mediocre audio quality. I decided to do this voiceover in the morning time, probably not the greatest idea. Anyway, I wanted to make this video because of two things that have recently been happening on the channel. The first thing is my like to dislike ratios have been down recently. They've been hovering around the low 90% range, and I'm just wondering if there's anything I can do better. And I'm not saying this to be like, wah, feel bad for me, you have to agree with me, or whatever. But I'm saying this because I want my content to be enjoyed by my audience, because that's the most important thing when it comes to having a connection with viewers. Recently, my videos have been more opinion-based, so you could just chop it down to people not agreeing with my opinions. I could understand that more if my videos were like politically charged or something that's like legitimately divisive. But you know, I make lighthearted videos about the gaming industry, so I'm just wondering, is there something wrong with my recent content? Like, is my demeanor off? Am I too complainy? Or is it just something as simple as people disagree with my takes? Again, I'm fully open to disagreements. I read and appreciate comments that openly disagree with my takes. That is, when we are both respectful to one another. And yeah, everyone is going to have videos with a lot of dislikes. People mess up. It's just the fact that they've been down for a while now that kind of pushed me to really ask my audience about it. Anyway, that's the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing I want to mention may actually tie into the first thing, or rather, might be the explanation for it. So I've been getting some comments lately that have all basically had the same message, and it's something along the lines of, oh, you're a Nintendo fanboy. Oh, you only play Nintendo games. You're just a Nintendo meat rider. Stuff like that. And look, it's kind of my fault these comments pop up, because recently, I'm sure you're aware of this, I've had a few long forms doing very well, which has brought in a ton of new people to the channel. Now, in these videos, I talk a lot about Nintendo games, specifically the video games that are basically perfect videos. I've gotten a lot of comments saying there's too many Nintendo games featured in this list, including the guy that completely roasted me by saying sponsored by Nintendo. Now, I actually don't mind these comments at all. I actually take them as constructed criticism, and actually that was a pretty funny joke too. But yeah, the comments themselves are valid criticisms of the content I made, because if you're making a video about video games as a whole, you kind of have to have a good variety, and my videos just did not have a great variety. Now, of course, it wasn't just Nintendo games. There was a good bit of indie games and some PlayStation games sprinkled in, but I still understand the argument that it did deserve better representation from other companies. Now, my reasoning for this is, in these videos, I can only include games that I have personally played, and I do acknowledge that, but I still think those criticisms are valid to make by the viewers. I'm not going to get mad at you for thinking that way about my video. That's perfectly fine. The criticisms I don't particularly like are people who just straight up accuse me of being a Nintendo fanboy or something like that. Let me be as clear as possible. I absolutely despise fanboy culture with a passion. Fanboy culture is actually, in my opinion, the absolute worst thing about online gaming discourse. Not only is it embarrassing, but it's just bad for gaming in general. It's bad for consumers especially. So yeah, I really despise the fanboy mindset that the internet has. I actually am pretty vocal on Twitter against different kinds of gaming fanboys, whether it be Sony ponies, Xbox, Nintendrones. It's dumb to suck off corporations, no matter which company it is. Like I said earlier, I get why people may get the wrong impression about my opinions when it comes to games, especially given my own channel branding has Nintendo stuff in it. And yes, if I had to choose between PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo, I would choose Nintendo, but I would never take a bullet for them. They are a scummy, greedy corporation. I also own both PlayStation and Xbox consoles as well as a Steam Deck I just bought recently. I quite literally play games on basically every single platform. But yeah, the reason a lot of my videos feature Nintendo games is because yes, they are indeed the bulk of what I've played. There's plenty of Sony and Xbox games that I've loved over the years. I even collect physical video games, and actually, my two biggest collections are PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. I just don't talk about that console generation very much because I haven't gotten around to playing them since they're in my back catalog. But yeah, I don't want to ramble for too much longer. I also am not showing any comments I've gotten in particular on screen, aside from that one guy who completely roasted me, because that's just gonna lead to people being harassed in the comments, which is, by the way, literally the opposite of what I want to accomplish with this channel. Do not go looking for comments like this just because I'm responding to them at large. Anyway, I'm not trying to victimize myself or anything, because at the end of the day, this really isn't that important. It's just that, you know, I've been seeing this comment a lot over the past 2 months, and look, every YouTuber receives criticism. It's completely normal and healthy. It's just that in this situation, this particular criticism, I personally wanted to bring attention to because I wanted people to see my actual thoughts about the situation. But yeah, the App Fest is over. You're free now. So, yeah.